You ever found yourself in a bit of a heated argument after someone asked you a question that just completely caught you off guard? You know, that question that you thought you knew the answer to, well, but actually, let me get back to you on that. Those may be the most powerful words of a leader ever spoken. Let me get back to you on that. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. I've been there. I've been caught off guard, asked a question that really I felt like I should have known, but I also realized that the first words out of my mouth were really reactionary to the question and maybe even the environment of the question and maybe even the person asking the question and maybe even the stress that they put on me because they wanted the question answered right now. And it really wasn't that big a deal. But their demand for an answer made it seem like an answer was absolutely critical. Now, I've worked well in high-stress environments as a firefighter and a 911 operator. I know how that works. I do well making decisions quickly. But I love the way John Maxwell says it. He says a good leader makes quick decisions, but they're not decisions made quickly. Well, how do you do that? When we do martial arts trainings, one of the things that the instructors will say over and over and over again is, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. What does that mean? It means you rehearse whatever that move is slowly until you get all the mechanics of it right. You think through every step of the decisions you have to make, of the people you need to hire, of the people you need to fire, of the business plan that you're putting together, of your marketing strategy over the next 2, 3, 6, 12 months, the next year. Of every word that goes into a radio ad or a television ad, you stop before you react and you go through the entire process. Do you have a checklist for making decisions like that? Do you have a core value system that allows you to answer questions that are tough with consistency? Because here's what comes up really often. People are cornered, whether it's on social media or it's on the radio or it's on television or it's on the streets or it's by a new employer, a potential employee or a potential employer. And they ask you those questions that they know kind of are like a sucker punch. They're waiting to catch you off guard. They really want to know, how well do you think on your feet? One of the most powerful lessons I learned while being in the military was, if the inspector general asks you a question that you don't know the answer to, don't answer it. That doesn't mean ignore the answer or ignore the question. It also doesn't mean, I don't know, and leave it at that. What it does mean is, I don't know the answer to that question right off the top of my head, but I will be glad to get the answer and come back to you. That's a valid reply for anyone, anywhere, anytime. I don't know the answer, but I will be glad to find the answer and get back to you. It admits that you're human and you're frail and you're weak, and that's perfectly fine to be vulnerable that way. Because the worst thing is to declare an answer that you don't have any clue about, to speak a lie. Because now you're being held accountable for the thing that you made up on the spot that may or may not be prepared. But just like your business plans, your strategy plans, your marketing forecast plans, your advertising plan, all of those things are not done in a brief period of time. Of course, an ad is 30 to 60 seconds long, but you spent hours getting it ready for that. I believe it was Winston Churchill who said, if I have an hour to make my presentation, I'm ready to go at a moment's notice. If I have half an hour, give me a couple of days. If I have 5 minutes, give me a week to prepare. Why? Because it takes a lot of time to cut away the fat and come back to the right answer. So you may ask a question of a CEO or a team leader or a market leader and get an answer in a heartbeat that they will not waver from. That's not because they just made that answer up. It's because they spent time in silence thinking through those questions as they relate to core values, to business plans, to strategies, to long-term goals. They've already thought through all of these things so that they can be ready for the answer when you ask the question. Not because they're going to answer it flippantly, not because they're going to answer it in haste or make up an answer on the spot, but because they know that question is eventually coming and they're going to be prepared for it when it does. Leaders need time in silence. Because a rapid answer, especially one answered in anger, might lead to a bloody nose. I'm just saying. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast on Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.